So I have here a Honeywell heat bud. Now, about a month ago, my local store started putting out their winter stuff, heaters and Christmas lights and things like that. But I noticed that they put up a selection of these. They come in different colors. I think there was 4 or 5 different colors. And I wondered how well they would actually work. And me being in alternative energy, I use solar electricity for many things around the home, and I wondered just how effective this little heater would be in keeping a personal space well heated. Now, I looked all over the internet for reviews on this, and as of this video posting, there are no reviews on this actual unit. So I figured this would be a good opportunity to actually be able to, unbox it and be able to give you my personal review on this item and whether or not it's worth the $20 that I spent on it. Now, these heat buds didn't come out too long ago. This is the first I've actually ever seen one. And you can see here that it's actually rated to, on the high setting, it's 250 watts, and then the low setting is 170 watts. Now, I'm a realist when it comes to, heat and wattage. I realize that this little unit here is not going to put out the heat that a 1500 watt ceramic heater or infrared heater will. So I'm not expecting it to heat a whole room or anything else like that. This is actually going to be supplemental heat that I can actually run off of my solar panels to keep my corner of the room warm, or usually either where I'm sleeping in the bedroom or when I'm working at my computer. So I wanted to see if this was actually going to work as well as what they would say. It's a heat bud ceramic personal heater. Obviously they've got her sitting here all nice and comfy and so on. So we will actually see just how well this thing works. So the first thing you'll notice is it's obviously pretty descriptive on what it's capable of, the safety matters thing. And I'm guessing this is going to be like any other ceramic heater where there's about 10 pages of warnings and precautions and, don't be stupid, basically. So on the inside, you got this cardboard protector. Here's the instructions, of course, warning, personal safety instructions here. It's in a couple of different languages, like most things these days. And wow, there's 25 warnings or cautions here. That is a lot. And I always laugh at some of these when I read them. It's amazing how our lawsuits have created this. Just some of the most common sense things have to be put on these. It just amazes me. But anyway, here's the instructions. I'll look at those later. Obviously, we have the actual heater. It looks like that's all that's in there. It's in a plastic bag. I'm sure one of the warnings says take it out of the plastic bag before you use it. It might even say right on here, caution. I'm sure that's what it says. So, then you've got your cord that's got more warnings, and wow, I mean, you got the protector, plastic protector for the prongs, and just a twist tie here that keeps the cord neat. So, what you've got here, this is not heavy at all. It's really light. More warnings on here. Really, really light. I can see on the inside, I can actually see the heating element, so it's not that large, but I'm not expecting it to be for something like this. Here's the power switch. Looks like you got low, or let's see, off, low, and then high, looks like. And then on the bottom here, you got the 2 rubber feet, and this most likely is a safety switch, so that, yep, that's definitely what it is. You can hear it. If you can hear that. So most likely when it's running, if it actually gets tipped over, there, it shuts off. That's a neat safety feature, although I'm not really sure with something as small as this, I'm not really sure what use that would be, because it's taking up such a little amount of space here that if it were to actually fall over, unless, I mean, you shouldn't have anything around the heater anyways. So the only thing I can imagine is, depending on the surface that you have it on, if it happens to fall over on a surface that might be flammable. Still is a good safety feature. I especially like it on the very large ones that can tip over. So yeah, not too bad. And then I believe this is a red power light here on the front to let you know that it's on. Pretty simple, pretty basic. It's not really that heavy. You know, it's a little bit larger than my fist. I can get it, you know, pick it up with one hand. Not too bad. So let's go ahead and power it on and see what kind of heat this thing actually puts out. Now I am going to be using a kilowatt meter to tell how much electricity this thing is actually drawing, to see if the manufacturer is correct on its actual draw. And this will help me determine how much electricity I'll actually be using from my solar panels to keep this thing running. Okay, it's plugged in and we are ready to see just how much heat this puts out. Okay, this is the low setting. Not very loud, so if you're worried about the fan making just an enormous amount of noise, it actually does not. And there is some heat. I'm sure it's going to take it a little while to actually warm up, but there is some heat coming off of it. It is warming up. It's getting warmer. And this is on the low setting. Now, it's not something that's going to blow you away like a big 1500 watt ceramic heater, but this is actually pretty warm. It's too bad actually that the fan doesn't push the air out a little bit more. So really, really hot right here. I can feel the heat all the way out, probably almost a foot approximately. That's on low. And it is using 158 watts right now. Now, it does say that it's supposed to use 170 watts on low, and it's currently using 158 watts, so slightly less than what they say, but it could still be warming up. This feels like about as hot as it's getting now. So this is on the low setting. Not too bad. Definitely not something that I would personally count on heating my entire corner. If you had it facing right at you and you had it pretty close, then it probably would do the job. But low doesn't seem like a very good setting. So let's go ahead and turn it up to high. Okay, the fan didn't to me get any louder, and the heat is definitely increased from the low setting. I can definitely feel it out more in this area here now, all the way out to probably about right here, so maybe a foot on each side. And then it's definitely where I'm standing behind the camera, I can feel the heat, so it's increased by probably about another foot coming back towards me. So it projects the heat probably about 2 feet out and about a foot on each side. It's actually not too bad. Now, the problem that I have right now, this heater is actually angled upward, and I'm assuming it's because they want the heat to be coming at you. But if you are facing directly at this, which means you're facing at it at level, then there's almost no heat. All the heat is actually being projected up, and that's fine, because if you're setting it on a desk or something like that, that works out great. But if you happen to have it at eye level, then you're not going to be feeling any of the heat. But it's pretty hot. You know, it's not something, as I said, that's going to replace your big 1500 watt space heater, but I actually feel warm now where I'm at. Standing in front of this heater, I actually feel warm. And the temperature in this particular room is 58 degrees. So, yeah, I mean, I feel great, comfortable. Not sure that I would have it on the low setting all the time. But on the high setting, it looks like I'm using 253 watts. Which is slightly more than advertised, but that's fine. 253 is pretty good. So, will this heater do the job? Of course it will for me. May not work for you. It's not going to heat your whole room. It's not going to heat a garage or anything from freezing. So be mindful of that. This is more of a personal space heater. It's definitely going to do the job for me. I'll be able to run this off of my solar panels for extra heating in my area. We're doing a lot of things to try to reduce our energy costs, obviously being in solar. So this is going to be a perfect little device. Probably won't have it running all the time, just when it's really cold, but yeah, as I stand here, it's actually getting warmer, so I can tell that it is heating up. Now the actual device, the actual housing, I don't feel any heat on this at all. So this isn't getting hot, just the front of it. So if you're worried that the whole thing is getting hot, it's actually not. So it's just the front end here that's actually getting hot, which is good. So, well, there you have it. So $20. I think it's well spent for a personal heater. Again, it's not going to heat a whole room. Probably good to have on your bedside. You know, when you're reading a book, I would not exactly fall asleep with this thing running. Although it does have tip over protection, it's just one of those things. It's like leaving a candle burning when you're sleeping. It's something that you don't want to do. But definitely good for heating the space that is nearby. You know, not too bad for $20. So this again, this is the Honeywell Heat Bud. Works pretty good, and like I said, $20, not too bad of a price. It's pretty quiet, puts out a decent amount of heat, only uses 250 watts on high, so for some personal heat, just want to heat a space without having to run your furnace or without having to run one of those big ceramic heaters that you don't need to heat the whole room with, this would actually work out pretty well. So if you guys have any questions, definitely let me know. Take care, guys.